Welcome to Senior Strategies, Tools for the Caregiver with Amy Decker and Shayne Silver. Join us on each show where you're going to enjoy a lively conversation that's going to connect you to the tools and resources that you'll need to coordinate care for the seniors in your life. We are so happy that you joined us. Hi, welcome to Senior Strategies. I'm Amy Decker. I am with Senior Helpers of South Palm Beach County. This is Shayne.
I'm Shayne Silver with the Silver team at Keller Williams Realty, and I am a caregiver. And thank you for joining us tonight.
We're happy to have you. We love talking about things at the very beginning of the show, things that were of importance to us in the last couple of weeks, or maybe a product that we found that we really liked. I feel with Home Health Agency, so Senior Helpers is a home health agency, private duty. We go into the homes and care for your loved ones. And there's a lot of misconceived ideas of what the clients feel that the caregiver should be able to do. So when you get a caregiver into your home, it's either going to be a CNA, which is a certified nurse assistant, or an HHA, which is a home health assistant. Yes, we can care for your loved ones, but there's a lot of things that we can and can't do. So I have a little list going here of things that are a little confusing that they can and can't do. For instance, the home health agent or the CNA cannot remove or change sterile dressings or perform any sort of wound care at all. And they may say, oh, it's easy, it's just a Band-Aid, it's just they cannot touch a wound of any sort. They can give a med reminder, but they cannot do med management, which would be to organize the pill box, and that would be considered dispensing meds. They can hand them the medication, but they can't put it into their mouth or measure it out in any way. That would also be a med dispense. If they have eardrops or eye drops, same thing. They can guide their hand to where they need to go, but they can't administer them into the body.
Wow.
Yeah, there's just lots of things that when they say, well, my dad just has eye drops, he's got glaucoma.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah, and I'm sure these are things you get asked a lot that people need.
A lot, like every week. And this past week, it was really crazy how many times we did. So we have nurses on hand that can do it, but the CNAs and the HHAs cannot do it. If they have a Foley, which is what urine goes into, again, they can empty that and clean it. They cannot replace it. Same with the stoma, like a colostomy bag. They can empty it and clean it. They can't replace it. And both of those things at any given time can fall off.
Yeah.
So they got to get a nurse to come in and take care of that. And that's by the state of Florida. We can't do that. They can insist in transferring a person, but they can't lift them up off the floor or they can't carry them. They can just assist in a transfer. No physical therapy. Often they'll say, my mom has physical therapy and she's got this whole list on her refrigerator. We just want her to, have her lift the leg. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it because it's got to be somebody there watching to make sure that they haven't hurt themselves. They have insulin. We can hand them the syringe. We can hand them the pinprick to check their.
So this brings up a really good question. So when you have people call in, I'm sure you have to do an intake. You have to specifically find out what they need.
Yep.
Because if this seems like a list of commonly needed, commonly done, so
and they don't get it because they're doing it. So
right.
I'm the wife or I'm the husband, I'm doing it. I've got a private aid that's doing it. But we are a home health agency that we're stringent rules by the state of Florida. Right. We can't go in and do anything like that. But they are simple things like you would think, taking a bandage off when he gets in the shower and putting a fresh one back on. That's considered wound care.
So they would need a nurse.
They would need a nurse. And because we're an agency, we always have nurse backup. Mm-hmm. So you'll have the CNA or the HHA, but at times, like with the stoma or a Foley, that can pop off in the middle of the night in their sleep.
You can't put it back.
There's nothing you can do about it if they can't do it on their own. Yeah. The other thing too is they'll say, can you check my dad's vitals in the morning and then in the evening? So they can do blood pressure, they can check the vitals, they have to document what they are. They are not allowed to diagnose, this is high blood pressure, this is low blood pressure, they can document it and then bring it to a nurse. But I have to say almost weekly these things will come up and say, but I do that for my husband already.
Right. Right.
As a home health agency, you can't do that. So that was just something I thought was kind of interesting to talk about because those are things that really
come up a lot.
Comes up every single week.
So if you're out there caring for someone and you're getting to the point where you need the assistance of a home health care agency, these are important things to remember and important things to ask when you are getting help.
And often if they're on hospice already, hospice will cover some of those things, but if they're on palliative care hospice, that's only going to be a couple days a week. They're not going to be there at 2 a.m. to have to replace something.
Right.
So that was my feature thought. for the week.
Awesome. Well, I found something really awesome on Instagram, just like everyone else does. So I came upon this week these wonderful Mosh bars, which are actually nutritional brain bars. This is a company that was started by Maria Shriver and her son. They come in all different flavors. This is actually a sample box. So they have 6 different flavors and they are working on more. They are no sugar added. They're keto. If you're on a keto diet, they work. They're high in protein, low in sugar. They have all kinds of, they were actually designed, and hold on, I don't want to get it wrong. They were actually designed by a neuroscientist and functional nutritionist to support brain health and memory.
Wow.
They are absolutely delicious.
And they have different series because now, you had ordered.
So I actually reached out to find out if they had vegan bars, and they're actually working on them. So those are going to be out soon. You can find them on Instagram at Mosh Life, and it's a great thing to throw in your purse. It's a great thing to have if you're out and about. And they are all about brain health and the wonderful, wonderful things that are in it. And they do work with the Alzheimer's Association, so a portion of the funds do go back for research. So I was really excited to find these. I know they're going to be in my purse from now on. A great little snack that's good for your brain.
Yeah. And so moving forward.
If you have a product, a book, or something that you think our viewers need to know about.
Anything that goes hand in hand with seniors or caring for seniors.
Right. We'd like to know about it, because if we haven't found it, it means some of our listeners and our viewers haven't found it either. So if there's something that you know about that's helped you, your loved one, your family, please reach out, let us know, because we'd love to spotlight it.
Spotlight your, and then you can get us on seniorstrategies.pb@gmail.com and give us an idea of what you have. We'd like even a little sample of it so that we can promote it on the program.
Absolutely.
Give us all the contact information and everything that, that we can talk about it on our program. So, and it can be anything. It can be an app on a phone. It can be a food product.
Yep.
It can be a book that you think is helpful.
Last episode you talked about the water drops, right?
Yes, to keep them hydrated. Yes. We did the Wendy Mitchell books about the woman that
wrote her own book,
writing her own books because she had early onset dementia. So if you have something out there that you think would be a benefit to our program and you'd like to promote it on our show,
remember, our mission is to bring caregivers and their families resources that you might not have known existed.
Right.
So that's what we're here for. So hopefully you can check those out.
And we've got great guests on every show. And so coming up after this commercial, we are going to have a really great guest.
Yes, very excited. We have with us today, where did my thing go? We have with us today Andy Cohen with Pivotal Life Insurance, and he's going to talk to us about what he sees when he's working with seniors, how he works with seniors, and all the benefits and how he can help you, our seniors and our caregivers out there. So please join us after the commercial break, come back and learn something and laugh a little bit.
We'll see you soon.
In support of all the work that Amy Decker and Shayne Silver do for our senior community, Prepare to Care Emergency Companions is honored to sponsor this segment of Senior Strategies, Tools for the Caregiver.
This segment of Senior Strategies is brought to you by Sokoloff and Weinstein, PA Attorneys at Law. Injured? Not your fault? Call Sokoloff and Weinstein, PA Attorneys at Law. They have provided personal injury representation and have practiced in Palm Beach County since 1993. They will address your individual needs and help you through whatever concerns you may have. Principal office located in Palm Beach County. Satellite office located in Indian River County. Call today at 561-790-6788. That's 561-790-6788.
NPTU is a mobile pain management provider caring for patients in their homes or skilled and assisted nursing facilities. NPTU can help with prescribing medications, joint and spine injections, under ultrasound guidance, with a specialty in neurostimulators. Neurostimulators can help reduce the need for narcotic pain medication and are covered by Medicare with a secondary insurance at 100%. NPTU and Tracy Leshinsky is the only provider of this device within a 250-mile radius. Services Palm Beach and North Broward counties. Contact NPTU today at 561-901-1182.
Welcome to Allegro Boynton Beach, the epitome of luxury senior living. Discover a lifestyle free from maintenance worries, or experience gentle support tailored to your daily needs. Choose from our exclusive offerings of independent living, assisted living, and memory care, each designed to provide a personalized experience of utmost comfort and care. Indulge in a maintenance-free retirement or embrace the support you deserve. Surrounded by the finest amenities and compassionate staff. At Allegro Boynton Beach, luxury meets a vibrant community where every moment is filled with joy, purpose, and peace of mind. Experience luxury senior living at its finest. Contact us today to schedule your visit and discover the unmatched lifestyle awaiting you at Allegro Boynton Beach.
About 60 million baby boomers refuse to leave a financial burden on their loved ones, but 70% of them have unsuitable life insurance or are unaware that it may expire. With final expenses significantly rising, don't leave your family unprotected. If you have an old policy or purchased guaranteed coverage, don't take any risks. Gain peace of mind with a policy review. Mention Senior Strategies and it's free. Call Pivotal Life today at 561-412-5500. That's 561-412-5500, because family and legacy are worth protecting.
Always taken care of you, but now they could use a hand, and sometimes more help than you can provide. Thankfully, there's Senior Helpers, experts in Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's care. We can help you transition from a hospital stay to home, or just help your loved one with assistance with their everyday needs. Visit seniorhelpers.com to learn more. Discover why Senior Helpers is senior care, only better.
Welcome back to Senior Strategies with Amy and Shayne. Coming up next are more tools and resources you will need to make your journey of caregiving a little easier. For more information or to be a guest on the show, please contact us at 561-800-6654. And now, on with the show. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us. It is Shayne and Amy back with you. And today, I'm so excited for our guest. We have Andy Cohen from Pivotal Life Insurance with us today, and I'm actually going to turn it over to Andy so he can introduce himself. Welcome.
Go, Andy.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Great to be here, first off. Love your cause, love your mission.
That's
It's good to be on
great.
the show, so I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
guys having me. So my name is Andy Cohen. I am the co-founder of Pivotal Life Insurance. We're a local life insurance agency here in Florida. We focus solely on seniors 50 to 85. We've helped a ton, and we have kind of a unique approach to it. It's really about education. We're going to get into some of that today. I hope I can answer a lot of questions for you guys. You know, I got into the business because I felt there was a big need for it. A lot of seniors just don't know who to talk to, who they can trust. So
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland originally, been down here in South Florida for 15 years.
Wow.
And you know, my brother, who actually got me in the business, is still up in Maryland. He runs a branch office that we have up in Maryland for Pivotal Life Insurance.
Great.
as well.
Wonderful. So if you're not local, if you're one of our listeners and you're not down here in South Florida, but you're in the Maryland area, you
Check
can
out
reach out
Andy's
as well.
brother.
Yeah, exactly. So we are a family-owned business. Myself and my wife own the business now. We have about a dozen agents throughout the country, most of them placed here in South Florida, and of course we've got the Mid-Atlantic office as well.
Great.
Wonderful.
Again, thanks for having me.
So quick question. insurance is quite often a very competitive industry. Unfortunately, I'm in real estate, and kind of like real estate, we don't always get the best rap, insurance salespeople. So I'm sure it's challenging, but how do you, when you're working with seniors, how do you build that trust? Because quite often,
There's a lot of scammers
our
out there.
seniors, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes
Oh my
our
gosh,
seniors are really,
unbelievable.
you know, kind of timid because of all the scammers.
They get targeted for so many scams.
So how do you build that trust?
Love that first question. I love it. So it's a great one. So you're absolutely right. Scammers, spam phone calls nonstop, right? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we focus on education. We really want to make sure that seniors don't have anywhere to turn.
Right.
You know, a lot of times they're hesitant, they don't know who to talk to, they don't know what direction to go. So if they are sort of just curious if they could qualify for life insurance at this stage, or they want to make sure that the life insurance they've been paying into for years is going to be ironclad and their family's going to get the benefit that they plan for, they often just hope and pray. We don't want that to be the case, because if it does lapse, or it's not what they thought, or it doesn't perform like they thought it would, the family's hung out to dry, and that's not the intention of life insurance. So what we do is really focus on education first, making sure they understand they can trust us. We do this through seminars, one-on-ones, really explain what's out there, explain the market, really make sure they understand everything they need to know. A lot of times they're misinformed about their current policies. A lot of times, again, they just don't know where to turn to get the information. So really for us, it's education first, information, before we try to hold anybody over the coals. That's not what we're about, and that definitely helps.
And so Pivotal Life Insurance, there's just such a wide variety of products that you can offer out there. It's been established for such a long time. There's so many other things that you could be doing, new homeowners or different. How did your focus become seniors, and why?
It's another great question. It's true. We do, the right annuities to help seniors plan their retirement and things like that. And we have a wide range of products, so we really can help anybody. But we just feel that seniors are the most vulnerable, and they have the biggest need. I mean, if you've planned to have insurance at this stage of your life and it's the wrong policy, there's not too much time to fix it.
Right.
And it's sad to think about. Nobody wants to leave their family vulnerable. So what we do really is just focus on them specifically, so we can make sure that they have the tools to properly plan. And again, we can help a lot of people. We have a wide range of products, but we just feel that the biggest need is seniors. There's nearly 70 million baby boomers that are, I'm sure you guys know this, right? That are retired or retiring by the year 2030.
Right.
So with that huge market, and we feel like not many places for them to turn to get value, we just feel like this is the no-brainer. We're doing a humanitarian effort. We're glad to help. Allows us to sleep at night by doing it right. So that's why seniors is really our focus.
Wonderful. What's one of the most common issues or problems you see for the seniors that you work with?
Oh my gosh. So because they generally wouldn't know where to turn for advice, I mean, a lot of times they got a policy decades ago, and the person that sold them the policy, they can only hope that it was the right policy, right?
Right.
And it's really sad to think about. That person that sold them the policy probably retired. They haven't heard from them since when they wrote the policy initially. So we find that the biggest problem is that they're not properly educated at the time they purchased their policy. I can't tell you, and I can quote some numbers, which I will, how many times people got an insurance policy and they don't know that it's going to expire. It's sad. It happens all the time. In fact, I will give you those statistics. It's about 7 out of 10 seniors that we talk to are either fuzzy on the details, unaware, or just have no idea how their policy actually works.
And what do you mean they get a policy that's about to expire? They get a new policy that's about to expire, or they have a policy that they have already that they don't know is expiring?
They have a policy that they have already that is expiring.
They get notification
that they've probably had for years.
When you get insurance when you're 30 years old,
right,
there's not that much risk in it, right? You can have insurance that gives you peace of mind and peace of mind alone. And if it expires in 20 years, you got time to fix it, right? It's not the end of the world, right? Now it may be more expensive, but they sell term insurance that's temporary for people in their younger years. And a lot of times they're not upfront, or the information is left out or not very clear when they purchase that policy. 30 years after they purchase the policy, it's going to go away. So if you're 60, 70, in those age ranges and you're retired, you just can't take on any risk, right?
So how do you fix that? How do you make that
Yeah.
so now they trust you, and is this something that you can fix, or it's just?
It depends
How do you
on
keep
the
from that
situation.
happening?
Generally speaking, yes. We're really out to help identify those vulnerabilities. We want to make sure they understand what they purchased, look at the policy. There's so many different types of policies out there that
Yeah.
people just don't know what they have. You go with a company that you trust, a big name company, well, they're going to write a different type of policy that may not be designed
For your
to be
needs.
valuable in your senior years.
Right.
So you have to be a little bit cautious. And again, what we find is that about 7 out of 10 have some sort of a vulnerability. To answer your question, Amy, it can't always be replaced.
Right.
It can't be fixed. But to identify that adds value, because
Right.
if they can, try harder to protect the assets. I know
Yeah.
when they're living on fixed income, there's not many options that
Yeah,
they
you're
may
not getting a
have.
text that says, "Hey, you got 6 months before your policy expires." They kind of hope
No.
you don't know.
No,
Right.
and it's really sad. I mean, there's different types of policies, and what we find, 7 out of 10 think they have the right policy because they got it from a reputable company.
Right.
They got it a long time ago. They've had peace of mind for years and years.
Right.
Suddenly, they're 75,
Right.
living on fixed income, and there's not many opportunities to correct an error. So we try to proactively look at policies, do policy reviews for people, and just give them the proper peace of mind, or identify if there's an issue.
And if somebody wanted a free policy review, how would they do that? Who would they call?
All they have to do is call into our number here in South Florida. It's 561-412-5500.
One more.
561-412-5500.
Good.
And what do they need to have handy or available? Is there anything they need to prepare for you? or?
I get that question. We do so many of these policy reviews for people, and it helps a lot of people. And a lot of times people say, I think I'm good. I don't want. They don't know that they can trust us to look at it and give us the right information until we build that rapport. And once we sit down, I can't tell you. I mean, almost every time they say, "Thanks for being persistent. Thanks for doing this for free
Right.
for us. It's great, very, very helpful." And they think it's a big undertaking, but it's very simple.
But that's because you know what you're doing. We
well,
don't.
I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not complicated for them either. All they have to do is, if they have a policy, it's great. I had somebody call me, I think it was last Thursday or Friday. I did a policy review for their sister, and they said, "Can you come out and help?" And it was nice. She had 9 policies laid out for me.
Wow.
It's nice when they have the policies.
And
but
then
a
what
lot
do
of
you do
times-
with that? Combine all 9?
I can't tell you all my trade secrets. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You got to pay for that.
No,
okay.
we're going to just evaluate them, look at the details, see if they're whole life, see if they're term life, see if they're universal, see if there's cash value in them. see
Most
if they-
popular being
Well,
Or the most sought
there's a
after.
mix.
the most sought after. Yeah,
The
maybe
most
that's
sought
better.
after would be whole life insurance. But again, it depends on your age range and what your goals
true.
are. It really depends on your health. There's policies that are fully underwritten that require you to be super healthy. And then there's policies designed for seniors that I focus on that are whole life insurance that are designed for people on fixed income that are actually affordable out there. And people don't know they exist a lot of times. They're just holding on to their MetLife policy they got in 1991, hoping that it's
Right.
okay. And so we really try to eliminate that. When they have the policy and they have it laid out on the table, it takes a few minutes. It's very easy for them. I read through the fine print, I explain everything, put everything down. A lot of times I'm just simply organizing their policies and determining what's good, what's not. If there's opportunity to save them money, I love that opportunity, because when you're living on fixed income and there's some opportunity to save, it's valuable, of course. But a lot of times they don't have their policies. It's in a safety deposit box. If
Right.
their family has
Yeah.
it, it's up in New York with their son. That happens all the time.
And some policies, after a certain amount of years, can't they borrow off that if they want to?
Absolutely. So
And that's considered what kind of?
that's whole life insurance.
That's whole
and that's
life.
also universal life insurance, which I
Okay.
can get into. The last point about the policy review, a lot of people are hesitant to do it because they can't find their policy
Yeah.
and they don't want to go digging through the closet. That's okay. What I tell people, it's not a problem. let me come over, have one of my agents come over, we look at if you don't have the policy, it's a phone call. And it's really valuable because we call the carrier together. And we're a team.
That's nice.
And we're
Right.
a team, we work as a team, we determine, I ask the right questions, and generally speaking, I'll get somebody that's customer service from the company on the phone, and they realize, this guy knows what he's talking about. So they want to be very cautious and give us all the right information, and then we'll take the notes down and know what you have, and then we can sit back for a minute, look at where they are in life, evaluate it, and determine if it's good for them or not.
But your biggest challenge is what? What did you say? What would you say when you go into a home? Like one of the biggest issues or the biggest challenges that when you sit down is what? Probably that they're
That they don't know
They
what
don't
they
know.
have. They
Exactly,
don't know where
Shayne.
it is. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know what they have, and they think, if you get a policy from a Prudential or a MetLife, these are massive companies, right? A New York Life, which is actually offered through AARP. So, people have some peace of mind knowing I'm good, I'm set up, I'm with a big company, I've got the right policy. But the person that sold the policy doesn't always share all the information, and if they did, it could go right over their head. So the biggest challenge, I think, once I'm in front of them is oftentimes, and this is the sad part, being the bearer of bad news. And that's really the part I hate about the business.
Especially when they realize what they've been paying or what they bought is not going to benefit them after all of these years. And
it's true. It's really true.
That breaks my heart. That breaks my heart.
I know one of the issues that I had with my father, he had passed away unexpectedly, and he was sick and in the hospital for a long period of time, and he didn't pay on that policy for a couple of months, and then he passed away. So he paid on a $350,000, and then
that's really sad, especially
and we
because
pulled it open and we're like, oh my God. So we
Yeah.
even said, we tried getting an attorney saying he was sick, he wasn't
Right
making the right
mind.
decisions. They
didn't
were like,
matter.
too bad.
Didn't matter.
Yeah,
It was
it's
sickening because that left my mom with almost nothing. I mean, he had paid on this thing for 50 years. He passed away. It was in the hospital.
And then you
Didn't pay on
couldn't use it.
He was in default of 2 months, and they would not.
So, Shayne, Amy, I'm sorry, that is common. There's something called
it?
an automatic premium loan provision that all policies have. And all the agent had to do, and I don't know the situation, I'm not blaming the agent, I don't know the guy, but all he had to do,
Can
generally
I tell you
speaking.
who he is and the name of the company? No.
Yeah, I'll go get him. Let's report him. So it's a checkbox. If you check that box, the cash value that you grow is used to pay the policy during those times. So I make sure that's explained.
Learn something new
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah, so when I do the policy review, I'm going to say, hey, there's no automatic premium loan provision. At this age, people end up in the hospital, right?
So
They
it's
end
a
up not
box
being
they
able to
check
pay.
off, and if
Yeah.
something happens and they're in the hospital, because we've had a couple clients even with that too, that, oh my goodness, my dad's been in rehab for 5 months. He hasn't paid on any of his, so it's just a box that checks off. And
Yeah, that the agent has to do when he writes the policy. It's
I bet
an
most-
option. Well, they really should, unless there's a valid reason. There may be reasons they don't as well. But it's something that's discussed when they sell the policy. And when I do the policy review, I identify that and say, hey, be aware of this. This
well,
is something
who wouldn't
important to know.
want that?
Yes, but if you don't know to ask for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know.
So now all of our listeners and viewers out there, now you know what to ask for.
They wouldn't even have to ask. The agent, if he's doing it right
Should.
and wants to sleep at night, right? Like I
Right.
do so well,
Right.
is going to actually take the time and explain, you don't have to worry about this. This is how this works. It's a free provision. It's a
Wow.
rider. It's included with your policy. And
Wow.
those are the kind of things that slip through the cracks, and that's why we identify them through policy reviews, and just the transparency goes a long way.
Yeah,
That's
and I think, my parents were young, I'm sure, when they first got that policy out, and then he paid on it for 50 years, never thinking that anything like that would happen. Because you're not thinking, oh, yeah, we're 30.
It could have
Nothing's
been a
gonna happen.
term policy. The term policy
Right.
doesn't have that cash value. So
I
term
see.
policies are
So it's only
completely,
the whole
completely
life.
different.
I see.
Yeah.
And this is why you need a professional, right? I say this when we talk about Medicare, when we talk about Medicaid.
Yes.
There are so many industries out there. Please turn to a professional.
Yes.
Please don't turn to the internet. Please don't turn to the web.
And again,
it's
so if they
something
want
like
a
this,
free, they call.
They call-
free policy review.
They call us at Pivotal Life Insurance. It's 561-412-5500. You'll talk to one of my agents. You may talk to me, very likely, and just tell us what you need, and we're happy to help. 561-412-5500.
Good. And
Awesome.
we're coming back. We're
We'll
going to
be
have
back
a
after a
commercial. We're going to
commercial.
pick your brain a little bit more.
Great. Looking
Thank you.
forward to it.
See you after the commercial break.
In support of all the work that Amy Decker and Shayne Silver do for our senior community, Prepare to Care Emergency Companions is honored to sponsor this segment of Senior Strategies Tools for the Caregiver.
This segment of Senior Strategies is brought to you by Sokoloff and Weinstein, PA attorneys at law. Injured? Not your fault? Call Sokoloff and Weinstein, PA attorneys at law. They have provided personal injury representation and have practiced in Palm Beach County since 1993. They will address your individual needs and help you through whatever concerns you may have. Principal office located in Palm Beach County. Satellite office located in Indian River County. Call today at 561-790-6788. That's 561-790-6788.
NPTU is a mobile pain management provider caring for patients in their homes or skilled and assisted nursing facilities. NPTU can help with prescribing medications, joint and spine injections, under ultrasound guidance, with a specialty in neurostimulators. Neurostimulators can help reduce the need for narcotic pain medication and are covered by Medicare with a secondary insurance at 100%. NPTU and Tracy Leshinsky is the only provider of this device within a 250-mile radius. Services Palm Beach and North Broward counties. Contact NPTU today at 561-901-1182.
Welcome to Allegro Boynton Beach, the epitome of luxury senior living. Discover a lifestyle free from maintenance worries, or experience gentle support tailored to your daily needs. Choose from our exclusive offerings of independent living, assisted living, and memory care, each designed to provide a personalized experience of utmost comfort and care. Indulge in a maintenance-free retirement or embrace the support you deserve. Surrounded by the finest amenities and compassionate staff. At Allegro Boynton Beach, luxury meets a vibrant community where every moment is filled with joy, purpose, and peace of mind. Experience luxury senior living at its finest. Contact us today to schedule your visit and discover the unmatched lifestyle awaiting you at Allegro Boynton Beach.
About 60 million baby boomers refuse to leave a financial burden on their loved ones, but 70% of them have unsuitable life insurance or are unaware that it may expire. With final expenses significantly rising, don't leave your family unprotected. If you have an old policy or purchased guaranteed coverage, don't take any risks. Gain peace of mind with a policy review. Mention Senior Strategies and it's free. Call Pivotal Life today at 561-412-5500. That's 561-412-5500. Because family and legacy are worth protecting.
Welcome back to Senior Strategies with Amy and Shayne. Coming up next are more tools and resources you will need to make your journey of caregiving a little easier. For more information or to be a guest on the show, please contact us at 561-800-6654. And now, on with the show.
Hi, welcome back to Senior Strategies. We are having so much fun, and we are
Learning so much today.
Yeah, we've already learned a lot. So there's a lot that Andy Cohen with Pivotal Insurance has taught us, and we are going to pick his brain for a few more minutes.
Great.
So there's a lot of different policies out there. Can you explain a little bit of the different types of those that are available specifically for our seniors?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it's funny you asked that because a lot of people I talk to don't know that there is whole life insurance available to them. And it's really sad. They think, oh, it might be too late. Well, there are products designed for 50 to 85-year-olds on fixed income. So those are, whole life products that pay out forever, give guaranteed payout, and people get those, seniors get those to make sure there's no financial burden left on their family. Nobody wants to stick their family, considering the cost of funerals these days, my goodness, is out of control, right?
Yep.
So, it protects your assets, and you don't have to worry about that. There's a way there are policies out there that allow you to make sure that that's solidified. Your plans are made, and they're affordable for seniors, and a lot of people don't know that. So whole life really is the way to go for seniors, and I help a lot of people find the right plans based on their health and their age.
What's your approach to tailoring these life insurance plans for our seniors who might have maybe even some health conditions?
So, everyone's different, of course. We're fortunate enough that we work with 16 A-rated carriers. So many names that big insurance companies out there. And as a broker, I help people and I identify the right plan for them. So that goes very far. But, generally speaking, 50 to 85-year-olds, they want to get something that's guaranteed. So whole life insurance, well, there's a few exceptions. I mean, just the other day, I have a client, such a sweet woman. She's 60 years old and healthy, which is great to see. And she took a final expense, a whole life insurance policy. She's got 4 children. And
Wow.
she said, I gave her $50,000 whole life insurance. I was in her budget. She was very happy. And she calls me a couple days later. She says, I just want more. Well, these $50,000 policies and lower are done generally without medical exams these days.
Oh.
They don't have to worry about qualifying for them. There's still some medical questions, but if they're healthy enough to qualify, we can get them set up with immediate first day coverage. They don't have to worry about the medical exam and the whole process. But she calls me a couple of days later and she says, hey, Andy, thank you, you're great. I says, everything okay? She's like, I just want more. So what we did was we gave her, because she's 60, we were able to get her a 20-year term insurance. Term policies end. So in her case, we were able to give her a $100,000 term policy that was affordable for her. And after she turns 80, if she's still with us, God willing, then her 4 children have the $50,000 whole life that's going to be in place forever to fall back on.
Wow.
So every situation is a little bit different. Generally, I'm working with seniors on fixed income, and I know money's not falling out of the sky.
What's the oldest client that's come to you looking for insurance?
I wrote somebody just the other day. So it's a nice gentleman, 89.
Wow.
89-year-old gentleman. Yeah,
Wow.
you
And
can-
at 89, he's deciding, I should probably get some
He
life
said,
insurance.
I should have done this years ago.
Wow.
And he looked at the
Right.
premium and said, this isn't too bad. It's better than
Yeah.
I thought, but
Right.
it's a lot cheaper if you're 60.
Of course. Of course.
What is the most challenging review you've ever done, and what did you do to help?
Well, I guess to answer that question, I have to talk about universal life insurance. Because
Okay.
universal life insurance is a different kind of animal. And I'll take a step back and I'll tell you about, these are things that I teach and I talk about all day long. But in a nutshell, I'll summarize, there's 3 main types of life insurance. There's term life. Term life is ideal if you're in your primary earning years, if you have a mortgage, young children, and you need some income replacement for the what if. Term life insurance is there for you. So it'll give you a term of 20 years, 30 years, and if you don't pass within that time, then it's gone. There's no cash value. There's no other value besides
Right.
the peace of mind or, heaven forbid, a death claim, right? So after that time frame, it's over, and there's no cash value with that, so they can't borrow from it. It's just gone. You can't call. It's very similar to car insurance. I can't call Geico and say, hey, I didn't get in an accident last year. Can I get my premiums back? You can take out your costs. I'll just take that. It doesn't work that way. So that's term insurance. It's designed for younger folks. Unfortunately, 98% of term policies just don't pay out. The rates also may increase periodically throughout the term. And they don't give you term insurance past the age of 80.
So
Got it.
once it expires, they come to you and you realize, okay,
Now I
I'm
have
still
nothing.
around. What do you do?
I hopefully have done a policy review years before it expires and say,
I
hey, this
see.
is what you need to know.
I see.
So then there's whole life. Whole life is permanent. It lasts forever. It's the only one that's actually permanent. And it
It
builds
lasts
cash.
your whole life, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. So, and the two really shouldn't be both called life insurance, in my opinion, because
Right.
people say life insurance thinking they can glump them all together, but that's not really the case. They're so different. But whole life has cash value. It lasts forever. The rates never change. It never expires. It's always going to be the same, and it's guaranteed.
And how long do you have to have, or all the policies are different? How long do you have to have whole life before you can have a cash out? How does that work?
It depends on your health. So you've seen Colonial Penn commercials,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Gerber,
Oh, right.
these companies, those companies are called guarantee issue companies. or guaranteed acceptance. And you know, the Colonial Penn commercial is a great example. You see it 37 times a day, right?
Right.
And the guy Jonathan steps up there and says, there's no medical questions, there's no exam, everyone qualifies if you're 50 and 85, between 50 and 85. The problem is there's a 2-year waiting period. And it's never $9.95, by the way. Anybody that has that will tell you. I replaced one last night, actually, for a gentleman, had 2 Colonial Penn policies and said, oh, I'm good to go. I looked at it and I said, well, one is 2.5 years old. The price is just way too high. It's not $9.95. And he said, no, of course it's not. And the second one was only because they call you and they try to add more insurance, and they give you more opportunities to buy more. And unfortunately, his other policy was a year old, and he's within that graded waiting period. So you pay in for 2 years, and if you die of natural causes during that time frame, you get your money back plus interest. But there's no death benefit.
I was going to say, what do you
okay.
mean by 2-year wait period? But it's that. So
Yeah,
if something
so-
happens within the 2 years of getting the policy and you pass.
You get your
And a
money
lot of-
back, but you don't get.
Exactly.
I
And a
see.
lot
What
of
the
people don't
policy
know
would've
that. And
paid
that's
out.
so common
I
with
see.
that's actually the standard. You have to have somebody like me come out to the house, find out about your health, see what you qualify for, find the right product, and then be able to offer you first day coverage. So my goal is obviously to get somebody the best rate available,
Right.
the most immediate coverage available, and the most bang for their buck.
And first aid coverage, you leave their house and at 4 o'clock they've got coverage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just
As
you know,
opposed to
Nice.
waiting, as opposed to a 2-year
Yes.
waiting period.
Yeah, just a couple
Right.
hours ago. Earlier today, I left there at 3:30 to hustle back over here, and really, really nice guy I worked with. He had a Gerber policy, and it was great when he had it as a child, right? He's got
Right.
Gerber. He's got it on all of his grandkids. It's phenomenal. I'm an agent for Gerber. I know these companies. I know them well. But unfortunately, when he decided it's a trustworthy company, I'll take a policy on myself. That Gerber for adults is a guarantee issue carrier, so there's a 2-year wait. So when I looked at what he had and said, hey, you know, you only had this for a year and a half, you don't technically have a benefit. He said, oh my gosh, thanks so much
know
for
that.
pushing me.
Right.
So, you know, so we're able to replace that and actually get him about 25 to 30% more coverage for the same exact premium.
Wow.
He's super thrilled.
And Gerber is
Wow.
the one you can give to people like as a baby gift, right? They
Exactly.
have a baby.
And that's why it's so popular.
Yeah.
You get it as a baby and you
Right.
think, okay, I'm good. It's a good, reputable company, which it is. And they'll pay the claim. There's no issues there, but there's not a one-size-fits-all is my point. You know, you
sure.
really have to look at the health and determine the best program for that individual. And when you take the time and you put the TLC into it
Yeah.
and you have a range of options, you can find
But
the
most
best coverage.
don't. Like you say, if you want to sleep at night, there's so many instances that we have, even with like a long-term care insurance, where we have to go into the home and care for the person. We've had insurance companies for a woman that was 100 years old and legally blind, but she could still cover her ADL. She could still cook. She could still take a shower. Denied her claim. Denied her claim. She couldn't get it. So those are that you think, wow, but you have your heart into it. Like, you know, to tell them to check the box if something happens. and
course.
You have to be in the.
That's why you need a professional. That's why, one more time, again,
Yes.
please, your phone number so our
Yes.
listeners can reach out.
It's 561-412-5500. And yeah, Shane, you need a professional and somebody that puts the time into it.
Right.
And really cares about getting you the best option and evaluating what you have and taking the time to do so. Because there's another policy also called Universal Life. And that unfortunately came out in 1979, and in the 80s and 90s, 25% of the policies sold were Universal Life. And you know, the MetLife and the Prudentials and all these investment companies that do those types of things, they sell those products. And those products aren't ideal for seniors because they're not whole life. And even though they have these nice high death benefits, and if you get it early enough, affordable premiums, they have cash value also. They're sort of a hybrid, but they're not permanent. So,
Meaning what? So,
So-
after a period of time.
And it's a variable product, so it's based on the economy and the interest rates.
That's
what
the
it-
one that can change. Your rate
Exactly.
can change.
So people get that because, you know, it's a commonly sold product. I mean,
Right.
I'm working with a gentleman. I mean, I've got tons of stories, but poor guy, I mean, he's got a $300,000 universal life policy. He got in 1987. I looked at it and said, you know, based on an illustration and how it's performing and the interest that goes into it, once your cash value runs out, your policy is virtually expired. You can pay the cost of insurance, which is through the roof. In this guy's case, he was paying about $200 a month, which wasn't a cheap policy. He's got 6 kids, between 6 kids and grandchildren, so he wants to give $50,000 per when he leaves as a nice legacy to leave behind. And we find out that his policy, 77, not quite so healthy, so it's challenging, but his policy is going to expire in about 3 years. Maybe
So when you say the
3.
cash value runs out, it's when it expires.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now
So
you
it's
can,
going to expire in 3 years. He's got these kids that he wants to leave $50,000
And he's not
to.
gonna
So
be
what's he
able
going to do?
we're working on it. We came up with a good solution. He's
Wow.
actually, because it's got cash value, every month your cash value goes down. It's used to fund the policy.
Right.
And it basically covers what your premium can't. He can't pay he's paying $200 a month. In order to keep his policy alive once it expires, he won't have any cash value left. But also, it's going to cost him about $1,100 a month. So to answer your question you asked me earlier, what's the hardest part? Sometimes breaking that bad news.
Yeah.
That's hard when you're working with these seniors, and so many of them that we've seen, like you said, the baby boomers, and they've worked so hard for all these years.
But then
They've
don't look at the
paid,
policy to
and they don't
know.
look at it, and they're caught off
Right.
guard, and in the hardest time, right? Often when they're sick or after they've passed, and now their family has to deal with this, and here they think that they've taken care of everything. This
Which is what happened with my dad. We had no idea. He passed away very unexpectedly. You know, had everything in the safe. We pulled it all out and we were like, oh my God.
Right.
There's nothing here.
And they tell you, right?
We
I
didn't
think you're
know.
supposed to review these policies, what, every 5 years, every 3 years, every 2 years?
So speaking of every 5 years, you need to have somebody that reviews them. So you know,
Right.
for any listeners out there, if you get a cash value statement every year, please call me. 561-412-5500. Absolutely, because you know the big companies, the MetLifes and the Prudentials and these big outfits, that's what they've given you, and you
Right.
feel good having it,
Right.
but it's not permanent. You need to know how to use your cash value.
Right.
You need to be able to, and the cash value statement that unfortunately nobody reads, almost nobody, you know, that's going to have the information on there, and I'd be happy to come over and help, you know,
But
sift
any
through
legal
that.
papers. So you've got power of attorney, you've got healthcare surrogates,
Yep.
you've got life insurance, you've got, and again, we were talking about too, is very often you may have somebody that's going to be the beneficiary to something that you have that you don't even know that person anymore. Or you might
they're
not even
gone,
like them.
Or that might have been a parent or a sibling who's no longer alive.
Or guess what? They're not your friend
Right.
anymore.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we have issues
Yeah.
too where they're just, we don't like them anymore. I'm not going to have
That's
them.
why
you got to review that.
You
Yeah.
have to review all of your forms, and you have to review them with a professional. I
Yes.
cannot stress that enough. We've had elder law attorneys on here.
Yeah.
We've had different types of attorneys on here. Now we have Andy. I know that sometimes people are scared, whether it's either they don't want to find out or they think it's going to be expensive to meet with an attorney, or to meet with Andy. He's going to come over
I'm
and review
gonna
your
do this
policy for
free.
free, right?
I'm gonna do it
Which
free
is
for
even
you
better.
guys.
So there's no excuse. There's no excuse. We want you and your loved one, you and the caregiver, you and your loved one, to be prepared.
But seniors, I think, are such a target for scams, and they're
Oh.
very insecure about who to trust and not trust, and
Well,
so
it-
they're
Right.
afraid to
It
have
goes
those looked
farther
at.
than that. You know, it's not necessarily. Yes, that's true, and that's so sad to me. But
So sad.
But it really is, and it's not right. And it's very gratifying when I help somebody and they realize, oh my gosh, I can trust somebody. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. And then I get a ton of referrals to their family members.
course.
That's the nicest compliment anyone can give me. And it happens all the time, so it makes me feel really good.
Good.
But you know, the other problem is that, yeah, there's scammers and there's a ton of issues out there, and people don't know who to trust. But at the same time, when you go with a New York Life AARP, right? That product by New York Life is marketed by AARP, so these seniors get tons of mailers from Mutual of Omaha and Physicians Mutual and Globe Life and all these mailers, and they see the Colonial Penn commercials all day long.
All day long,
It's
the commercials.
extremely overwhelming, right? But when you feel like you can trust a New York Life AARP, you feel you should be able to.
Right.
But what they sell and what they offer is term insurance, and every 5
Only.
years, that's what they
Oh,
offer. Now,
only.
at some point, they may be able to convert that for you into what they call permanent policy, which is not technically whole life, but that's a technicality. Either way, when they convert that for you, it's not the cheapest. There's definitely more
That's what I was
affordable
going to say.
options
If they're
out there.
taking term and converting it into something else, you're probably
Yeah.
paying a high
And the worst part is the term insurance that you have through those years, every 5 years. I mean, I just worked with Herman yesterday, super nice guy, and his wife. I'm meeting with his wife tomorrow to fix her policy, but they had New York Life, AARP, and when he got his at I think 62, it was okay, but when he turned 66, the rate went from, I think he was paying $62, suddenly it goes up to 94, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And then when he turns 71, it is going to be like 150, and then I think at 76 it was going to be 230, and then at 80, because his term insurance, it's gone.
But I'm sure he didn't know that signing up, and so we're so happy that we could be on our
course
program
not.
just to give us some insight on this. And again, everybody should. I'm calling
I'm signing
you.
up.
I'm calling you. I'm calling 561-412-5500 because I got mine almost 20 years ago. I'm not even sure if it's term or whole. I don't know what it is.
You're
I
part of
don't
the-
think I checked any box off that said.
You're part of the 70%. That's why I
Yeah.
tell people, please call. Don't take anybody's word for it.
Yes.
We're doing this free for your listeners. So I'm glad to do it.
Wow, we're so happy that
Please
that you
reach
found
out.
us and we found you, and you're
Yes.
able to help us out. And that's what the show is all about. I think the tools and strategies for the caregiver, whether you're a caregiver or a senior looking for tools to stay on your
Guidance,
journey.
knowing what questions to ask,
Right.
knowing who to reach out to.
Right. And, you know, each show we have a really great group of guests. I think next week we have who?
So next episode, we have Howie Weinstein, who's going to be here talking about home safety.
So he does home safety, and he was a professional basketball player?
I don't remember.
Okay, sorry,
You're asking
Howie.
me?
I think it's you were
I
a
need a mosh
professional
bar. I
basketball-
can't remember. And we have Ron Radcliffe from Senior Helpers,
Yep.
and they are going to be talking about their signature assessment that they do to assess if a senior's home is safe for them.
Right.
And then we have Howie here to explain how he can go in and make that home safe.
Right.
So that's going to be our next
It's
episode.
a personal home assessment that they go in. They look to see where are they storing their medicines? Where are they close to maybe the cleaning supplies? Do they have rugs in the house that are slippy slidey? What is the bathroom setup? Most injuries happen within the bathroom. So they go in and do this whole plug and play home assessment. They can show the family, and then Howie
And
can
then Howie can go in and make
it's
it safe.
how to keep your loved ones out of the hospital.
Yes, that's
really
our
that's
goal.
the biggest thing.
That's
is
our
keep them
goal.
out of the hospital.
Yep.
One of the things we love with our senior strategies is we have a branch off of 2 support groups. And so we
Yes.
have one at Allegro
We have an Allegro support group, which is the third
Thursday of the
every
month at 3 o'clock at Allegro in Boynton Beach. And now we have a brand new one at Harbor Chase
Yep.
on Military.
in Boynton Beach. And our first one there is going to be August 31st. And to RSVP and reserve your spot, you're going to call 561-228-8355. 561-228-8355. And that is a caregiver and family support group. Anyone is welcome, so spread the word.
It's a beautiful brand new building that's just opening right now on Military in Boynton. It's called Harbor Chase. That one is at 2 o'clock. And that is the last Thursday of the month. The one at Allegro is the third Thursday. That one is at 3 o'clock. So we hope that you can join us for that. We hope that you can join us for our show next time with the guests talking about safety in the home and how to keep your loved ones out of the hospital. Again, we've really enjoyed having you.
Thank you so much, Andy. You taught us so much today.
Yes, there is so much that you were able to fill us in on, and you know, it's one of those things, unless you talk to a professional, you don't even know those questions to ask. And sitting here talking to you, I didn't think of half the questions that I would till you started talking about it.
You're not the only one. It happens again 70% of the time. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to help.
And if you're in the Maryland area, you want to look up Pivotal Insurance in Maryland, where your brother is.
Yeah, so my brother, it's a family business. My brother runs the office up in Maryland. And you can find us online. Down here in South Florida, it's the same as the Maryland. But it's insuranceispivotal.com.
Pivotal.com.
And again,
Insuranceispivotal.com.
and
Oh,
again,
I see.
Insuranceispivotal.com.
Gotcha,
If you just
okay.
want to cruise the website,
Good.
plenty of information about our office down here. And again, if you want to call, I'm going to throw out the number again. It is 561-412-5500.
Well, thank you so much, Andy, for being here, and thank you to our listeners. And remember, if you have an issue or if you have a topic that you'd like us to discuss, or that
you
you're
have a
having an issue
product
with,
that you want us
a
to talk
product,
about, we're happy to.
or if you have an issue that you'd like us to discuss, or a resource that maybe you think nobody knows about and you think we should highlight, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us at seniorstrategies.pb @gmail.com or give us a call anytime.
Give us a call, and if you have any questions about Andy and what he talked about with Pivotal Insurance, you can also send us an email. You can go on the Facebook page. You can post those on our Facebook page. You can go on Pivotal Insurance page too. But regardless, we're thrilled to have you. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to you joining us again for our next show.
We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Senior Strategies. We hope that you found the tools and the strategies that we offered you beneficial for your journey as a caregiver. We want you to leave today feeling empowered and supported.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for upcoming shows and events. For more information, to schedule a consultation, or to join a support group, please contact us at 561-800-6654.
And remember the strategies
And tools you can use
to make your journey easier.